In the weeks following his unexpected encounter with Shaquille O'Neal, Dave found himself adjusting to a life he hadn't imagined possible just days before. With the new clothes, a fresh haircut, and a renewed sense of self-worth, he took Shaq's advice to heart and checked into the shelter Shaq had recommended. The shelter was more than just a bed for the night. It offered counseling, job assistance, and support for those trying to get back on their feet. Dave, determined not to waste this opportunity, attended every workshop he could. He brushed up on his skills, practiced interview techniques, and even took part in group discussions that helped him regain confidence in himself. One afternoon, as he was scanning the job board at the shelter, a posting caught his eye: kitchen assistant needed, no experience necessary. It wasn't glamorous, but it was a start. Remembering how Shaq had treated him with dignity, Dave decided to go for it. The interview was nerve-wracking. He was upfront about his situation, not wanting to hide anything. The restaurant owner, a kind-eyed woman named Linda, listened carefully and then asked, "Are you willing to work hard?" "Yes, ma'am," Dave replied earnestly. "Then you've got the job." That day marked the beginning of Dave's slow but steady climb. He threw himself into his work, arriving early and staying late, proving himself to be reliable and dedicated. He started as a dishwasher, but within weeks, he was prepping vegetables and assisting the chefs. Linda, impressed by his work ethic, offered him full-time hours and even helped him find a small room to rent. The transition wasn't easy. There were days when doubt crept in, when the shadows of his past whispered that he'd fall back into old patterns. But every time he felt himself slipping, he remembered Shaq's words: "Everybody deserves a little help sometimes." Months passed, and Dave's life continued to stabilize. He opened a small savings account, learned how to budget, and even started dreaming of bigger things. One evening, as he was finishing up a late shift, a familiar deep voice called out to him. "Looking good, my man." Dave turned and saw Shaq standing at the entrance of the restaurant, his towering frame impossible to miss. His heart swelled with gratitude. "Shaq!" he exclaimed, wiping his hands on his apron before shaking the basketball legend's hand. "I can't believe you're here." Shaq grinned. "I had to check in on you, see how you're doing." Dave gestured around. "I'm working. Got a place to stay?" I'm good, man. Really good." Shaq's smile widened. "That's what I like to hear. But tell me, you keeping that promise?" Dave knew exactly what he meant. He nodded, his voice steady. "Yeah. I pay it forward every chance I get. Whether it's buying a meal for someone who needs it or just listening when someone's having a rough day. I remember what you did for me, and I want to do the same for others." Shaq patted him on the shoulder. "That's all I wanted to hear." As Shaq walked away, Dave felt a sense of pride unlike anything he'd known before. He wasn't just surviving anymore, he was thriving. And just as kindness had changed his life, he would continue to pass it on, ensuring the cycle of compassion never ended. Because sometimes, all it takes is one act of generosity to turn a life around.